So how is the audio on the Zoom, on the online presence? Do you hear me well? Very good. Okay, so welcome everyone to this first Nordic conference on media and informal language learning for migrants in the Nordics. So when we planned this conference, everyone said that don't do a hybrid conference, like do anything, but don't do a hybrid conference. So why not? Let's do a hybrid conference. So if anything goes wrong, that is because we made that first decision with this conference. So, but I think we will manage, and if we don't manage, we will make something out of it at least. Okay, so I think the main word in this conference are migrants. Okay, so we can keep everything aside, but we have to look at migrants. They come in many shapes and circumstances. They can be refugees, they can work or study migrants, they can be love migrants, highly or poorly educated, irrespective of how high education or position you had in your native country. Moving to a country where there is another language, you end up illiterate in many ways. Okay, so my co-host and project manager, Henrik Melin, we need some introductions here. You will come on video later, Henrik, but you are the co-host and project manager. We also address our host for the venue, Lars Nordborg from VSK here in the venue in Copenhagen. So that's very important. We also would like to thank our partner in organizing this conference in the UNESCO Institute of Lifelong Learning, Rachat Zholodoshaleva. I hope that was okay with the pronunciation. Sorry about that. And her team with Annapurna and Jan and the colleagues from the UNESCO, from the UIL. Also important in this project is that we have a steering group. So we have Lars Nordborg, we talked about him, we introduced him briefly. We have Laura Ruskanen from ELY-Keskus in Finland. Online on Zoom, we have Pia Sundqvist from the University of Oslo. We also have Alex Elliott from Public Service in Iceland, RUV. And we also have Ahed Hussein from Språkkraft in Finland, actually. Okay. And Marit, yes, of course, Marit Jakula, not the least, Marit Jakula from Nordicom at Gothenburg University. Okay, so we have an interesting set of speakers. We have Representative Jennifer Roberts from the UNHCR. We'll talk shortly. We have Dr. Hajo Reinders, sorry about my Dutch, who will talk about informal language in general. And we will have a representative from Oxford Research, Luis Fabricius, who's going to share a bit about a study they do about language training, which is about formal and informal language learning, of course. And we will have then in the forum before the parallel sessions, we will have a study from Karlstad University with Silvia Kunitz on language cafes. It's going to be interesting. And then we will have the parallel sessions. We have track 1, track 2, we have track 3. How that is going to work is that we are going to share Zoom links for you that are online. So the track 2 that is on media, migrants, and informal language learning will stay in this Zoom, this main conference room Zoom. And if you are here following that track here in this venue here in this room physically, then you will stay here, of course. Okay, but for those that are in track 1 and in track 3, you will leave for another building, I think. We will go there together to those. And you that are online, you will get, you should already have a link to those 2 different separate Zoom rooms. So you will leave this meeting to another Zoom meeting that is the parallel track, just to make it a bit more complicated. But it should work, and we will share those links in the chat of this main conference room too. So we hope that that is going to work fine. And then we have some sharing of those discussions in the parallel sessions. And we will have a short panel discussion at the end, which is more like reflections. What can we take with us from this conference? And also what questions and kind of what do we leave for the next conference? Because this is a launch conference on this topic, and there will be a more ambitious conference, I would say, more ambitious at the end of the year or even early next year. We haven't set the date yet, but that is soon to come. So if you find that there are questions that are unanswered during this day that is important for this topic, please share this at the end of the day so that we can bring that into the next conference. Okay, so that was my presentation of the day. And now over to Ann-Maria Mosekilde of the Nordic Council of Ministers. Do we hear you, Ann-Maria, if you unmute?
Yes, thank you very much, and good morning to you all. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you in the room in Glostrup in Denmark, but I'm very happy to be able to join you virtually. This is a topic which is of great importance to the Nordic Council of Ministers. And we have done some reports on, for example, labor market employment, and we can see that language plays a very big part in labor market employment. So it takes on average 5 to 10 years for a refugee to find work in the Nordic countries. And in order to support labor market integration, the Nordic countries all have language training as a key element in the integration programs. But we need to know more about what works for whom and also why it's working. So I'm responsible for the program on integration of refugees and immigrants at the Nordic Council of Ministers, and a main task is to identify topics which are of joint interest to the Nordic countries. And in the past 2 years, we have intensified our focus on formal and informal language learning, as it is evident that mastering the language of the new home country is key to integration in the Nordic region. And I would actually like to just share 2 slides with you, but I need to be, at the moment, I have been disabled in screen sharing, so I don't know if the organizers could just allow me to share a PowerPoint. Okay, so I have been enabled now, and I will just share the vision with you. Now, what you see here is our Nordic vision. The program on integration of refugees and immigrants relates to a competitive Nordic region and also a socially sustainable Nordic region. We have 12 objectives linked to these 3 priorities, and I have highlighted in red our goal number 7 and also goal number 12, which relates to the labor market and also a socially cohesive Nordic region. Yes, and we have now, well, as a result of our focus on these 2 topics, we have formulated a specific target on developing digital and linguistic skills to support newly arriveds in the new Nordic home country. As a result of this focus, we have established an active Nordic working group at the ministerial level, as we need to learn from each other how different educational practices and also language training for immigrants operate and function in the different Nordic region, in the different Nordic countries. And some of the topics that are addressed at the ministerial level are vocational language training and also how to develop language initiatives targeting different professional groups. We also focus on language training to specific target groups, such as women staying at home with children. And then finally, also the impact of increased digitalization and how to use it in language learning. But we also need to learn more about creative language learning methods and tools that participants find meaningful and motivating. And this is why today's conference is so important. I think that today's program is an excellent example of the variety of approaches to language learning, and there is no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to learning how to master a new language. So I would like to thank Språkkraft for organizing today's conference, and with so many interesting presentations, I will wish you all a very fruitful day with new insights on language learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I will just unpin, I think. Is that how it works? Henrik, can you unpin here, please? How does it work? Okay. Do you hear me well? Good. Okay, so now it's time to inaugurate this conference, and how we're going to do that is not with no cannons or anything like that, but we are focusing a lot when we talk about language learning on formal education, right? But this conference is about informal education. Okay, so how do we informalize this conference? Well, of course, it's by removing the tie. So I will now remove the tie, and feel free to remove your jacket too. You know, we have a friendly and open atmosphere here. So take care and have a wonderful day today with informal language learning. So no ties. Thank you.